1 minute. So, Jala, should we have a very quick review of our earlier discussed topics? What would you
Yeah,
say?
yeah.
So, you are able to see a SAP screen, right?
Not yet.
Probably you should be able to see now. I am into the check instruction screen.
No, not yet. Yes.
Okay, then. Yeah, here we go. Yep. So we have discussed about how would a configuration which can be suited for the combination of the three, that is the three basic methods, if they have been considered for our scenario, how would they really impact our MAD? So that was the one which we have discussed. Hope you remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we were discussing about resources, right? So we were discussing about the single activity handling resource and multiple activity handling resource, and at the same time what is a finite and infinite resource, and how are they really going to impact our MAD when we are considering those in the concept of CTP, that is capable to promise. So we were discussing about the resource and the importance of them, right? So I was
Yes.
taking the example of a juice mixing machine which had a constraint of the volume it can like the load it can consider, or it has some constraint, whereas the Caesar or some other knife, something as such, which doesn't take the load, or the load is not a constraint for it, so it can be considered as an infinite resource which doesn't really count the load. So the infinite resources, when you're trying to plan with those infinite resources, that don't be a problem at all. But when you're trying to plan your whole activities to be because the activities, when I say activity, that means a resource and its capability isn't something nice about the activity, right? Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the handling of the activity, when you're trying to handle this activity and it has become some challenge with the finite resources. So to understand about them, how are they really going to impact, and how are we trying to use those constraints in our GATP, we'll be discussing in CTP. So for this today I will make you through to make a small exercise for us. So we will see like how maybe you would have not heard about this word, the bottleneck resources. Did you heard about this anytime earlier?
Brought in, no.
Okay,
Bottleneck.
no problem.
No.
Yeah, I will tell you. So I said you about the example, right? Like where the load is considered, and we are speaking about a finite resource, right? So at the same time, we have also discussed about a resource which has the capabilities to handle a single type of resource is called as single activity resource. Whereas the same resource, if it can handle different types of activities, it can be called as multi-activity resource, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now let me know once you're able to see a Word document open for you.
Yes.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to draw, so to understand about what is a bottleneck resource and how is this going to impact us, we'll understand about this concept. So in specific, why are we trying to understand about the behavior of resources here is because here we are speaking about CTP that is capable to promise whether resource and the capabilities are given a higher priority when we are trying to give the MAD to the customer. So at the end of the day, what are the methodology we are going to participate with the GATP? We are interested in two important things, right? One is about to ensure that we are trying to go ahead with the less as inventory as possible. At the same time, the reliable MAD, right? That I have been speaking about it in since the day one of our sessions, right? Hope you
Yes.
remember. Yes.
Yeah.
So in the same scenario here, as we have also seen about different scenarios like make to order scenario or make to engineer scenario. So when you expect, you're not actually planning with the whole stocked up materials, but you're trying to enable the services once you have received the order from the customer. Am I right?
Yes.
So obviously you have to also ensure that the overall lead times of the whole process can be reduced. Now when I say about the lead times, especially with in the case of in-house production, let us say, because we have also discussed about different types of procurements, right? Hope you remember.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, when I say about in-house production, I should be taking care about my in-house capabilities and how are they able to satisfy my MAD.
Okay.
So let us say these are three different resources which are of type single activity resources. So uh, say like, so these are three different types of activities which these resources are actually trying to handle. Okay,
Okay.
fine. So here we are taking this example to understand about what is a bottleneck resource and how does it actually impact the overall the lead times which are required. So indirectly the lead times are going to decide my overall MAD for my material. You agree with that point, right?
Yes.
Yes, wonderful. Yes. So let us say at the left hand side, at this arrow, let us say here, I hope you are able to see my cursor even. So here you're trying to give up your raw material or semi-finished material, something as such. At the final end, you are going to get your final product, that is at the right hand side, right?
Yes.
After all the resources they have done with their activities performed, so you are going to get your final product. So for this, and let me make some the time period which is considered by each of the resource here. So like let us say like the molding is taking somewhere around uh, 15 minutes, cutting takes about 20 minutes, and packing takes around 12 minutes. Fair enough. So now can you please tell me what is the overall time which is required for me uh, to get my final product?
47.
Wonderful. You're good at maths, man. Seriously. Fine. So my overall constraint is about which of the resources is trying to impact my overall lead times of my complete manufacturing process. So that is the 47 minutes which was there. If I have to cut down, so if I have to ensure that I have to cut down this overall lead time, I have to ensure that I have to do some productivity against my resources so that I can reduce the overall lead time. So what I'm trying to do is now I'm trying to add another resource here. This is another additional resource which was been added by me now. So now let us see what is a bottleneck resource and how does it impact. So out of all this, so every resource has its own equal importance, right? So either of the molding or cutting or packing machine, so either of the resource, if it is not working, at the end of the day you will not get your final product, right? So
Yes.
every operation plays a vital role. That is fine. That is fair enough. But
Yes.
one which is going to impact the overall lead times of a particular or of a particular overall system. So what I'm trying to make you understand is there is one resource which is actually impacting the overall resource, the performance of the whole lead time. So we are trying to now learn how which one is the one which is going to really impact. So taking this as an example, so here I have installed another molding machine here. So what happens is that because I was able to share the whole load, so my overall molding time will come down to 15 minutes by 2, that is 7.5.
Yes.
Am I right? Plus 20 plus 12, which goes to 39.5, right?
Yes.
Wonderful. So this is at case 1. Where you have installed another molding machine. So now let me try with the second option, like instead of installing molding machine, let me install another cutting machine instead of molding machine. So what will the overall lead time now?
So, so now you are only putting the cutting machine, not the molding machine, correct?
Yes, exactly.
So 37, I believe.
So 15 plus 10, yes, you are correct. 15 plus 10 plus 12, which leads to 37. Let us go even for the case 3. Where you are trying to install another packing machine, that is the third case. So the overall lead time would be 15 plus 20,
41, yeah.
yeah, plus 6 is equal to 41. So what we observe is the overall lead time has been gradually decreased in the resource which I was actually taking the higher amount of time in the overall activity. Am I right? That is cutting.
Yes.
So it was having the higher denomination, right? That is cutting has 20 minutes than the 50 minutes or 12 minutes. So
Yes.
in this process, in this current setup, the cutting machine can be called as a bottleneck resource because it is impacting the overall lead time. Hope you got me.
Yes.
So let us say like we have already installed another cutting machine, so we have got 37. So still if you want to reduce, of course what happens is like now when you have installed another cutting machine, now overall time has been come down to 10, right?
Correct.
Right. So still again you have another, then the molding machine would be a bottleneck resource then, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So the constraints keep on changing on the parameter basis, like when once you're trying to reduce the overall lead time of the cuttings and the molding time is going to increase or the packing time is going to increase, then the best way is to ensure that now taking the capabilities into consideration, how best you can suit to the requirement and what is the best way you can try to fix it is, like if you have trying to only install one single machine and which one you have to install if you have to consider. So taking the bottleneck resource, the one which is actually in the current setup which is been acting as a bottleneck resource has to be taken care, because it will lead or it will try to influence the overall lead time. So you now hope you have understood about why we are discussing about bottleneck resource, because this impacts the overall lead time, which actually again uh, influences the MAD, right, material availability date. Hope you got me.
Yes.
Yes. So that is about the concept of bottleneck resource. So not only the we have trying to understand about what are the different types of resource which are used and how are the planning about those resources will increase the complexity. If you are taking about a single activity resource, that is fine enough because it only performs only single activity. But if you take again a single activity resource with a finite scheduling, that means you are trying to speak about the constraint of it when you are trying to plan or schedule the particular resource for your given orders. So of course, in that is in the PPDS again we have different types of scenarios like block planning scenario. We have rule based. I'm sorry, campaign based planning. We have model mix planning. We have different types of plannings which are again there in the PPDS. However, but here the main agenda for us is to understand that the resource and their capabilities will surely influence the overall MAD of the particular material. So to understand about that, we have just got an introduction about what are the resources and what are different types of resources we have and how are they going to impact, right?
Okay. So in the bottleneck, like we assume, like because we need to reduce the lead time. So
Yes.
this resource, if so, this resource would be my bottleneck. So if I reduce that, or if I add one more resources in the same place, then this bottleneck would be reduced, and my lead time would also get reduced.
Yes, exactly. So in this example here,
And
not
also,
only because, yeah,
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 and
please go
also
ahead.
the material, and also the material should be like that we can operate in two parallel machine. Like for example, say we have a roll and we cannot cut into and parallel in the same parallel roll in the same two machine, then we cannot do anything. Like, so if the roll only need one machine at a time, we cannot use two machine, then lead time would remain same.
Okay, I hope I have spoke about this start and start end, right?
Yes.
Start end relationships.
Yes.
So this example suits very best if you are taking the example of start end relationship of activities, right?
Yes.
Yes, right. So you are asking about the start relationship, am I right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
So
so
where
I
you are
think,
trying to
yeah.
a same resource, that is a multi-activity resource. If you are trying to consider in the planning, how would it influence and how you can take care about it in overall to reduce the lead times? Am I right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So basically, so whenever you are speaking about bottleneck resources, again, in specific, we have took a dimension about a bottleneck resource where we had about start and relationship. So I will tell you another relationship. I'm sorry, I will tell you the another dimension where you are also trying to reduce the overall lead time. That is by something called as stock in place. So what happens is like, so now might be here you don't want to install another resource here, okay? You don't
Mhm.
have that huge budget for you to install another machine altogether. So how you can try to reduce the overall lead time? So basically, whenever you're trying to process, that is when you speak about the start and relationship, the other resources are idle until the molding machine has done its work. That you agree, right? That is,
Yeah.
let us say you are trying to process the material from this left hand side. Until unless the molding has finished its work, still the cutting and packing machines are idle to receive their orders, to receive the material from molding machine, right?
Yes.
Yes, right. So if you are able to ensure that the stock in place, that is, if you are able to maintain the stock, that is, you are able to reduce the ideal time of the overall resource. Even then you can reduce the lead time. That you agree, right?
Yes.
Yes. So we have different dimensions. I've just took you this example because the start and relationships, they are like quite easy for us to understand, and you get the same time you can catch them easily. So that was the reason why I have took the dimension of start and relationship. But if you have the start relationship, so obviously what you have to ensure that the stock in place is made for sure for the activity to be handled, so that the resource ideal time can be reduced, which also will also reduce the overall lead time. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So let us go back to our topic, that is CTP, capable to promise. So you had any questions yesterday?
Yeah, I have, but let's continue. Then I will ask in the end of the session, because I have a same doubt which I had day before yesterday. So I don't want to disturb your momentum. So just go and then I will ask end of the session.
Okay. Okay. Jairaj, you are able to hear me, right? I was just
Yeah.
trying to show you about the check instruction screen. Hope you are able to see it.
Yeah.
Yep. So we were now aware about like how is this relevant to the check mode and business event, and how are they able to. So the transfer of requirement, that all you have understood, right? So for a particular material, where you are trying to go with an ATP, with the especially with the sequence of CTP that is capable to promise. So this specific setting of check mode and business event are required for us to understand about that. They are trying to go for this particular check instruction. So we in check mode we have already made a setting when I was speaking about CTP. Do you remember what was that?
In the check mode, yes. Yes.
Yes, what was that? So what we have maintained there?
So there was a production type.
Yeah, standard characteristic evaluation, multi-level ATP kit check,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So when I make it a standard, that is, it's a normal, it's an ATP, that is CTP is been used. If you say for characteristic evaluation, that is, you're going for variant configuration or characteristic evaluation process. And for multi-level ATP, we'll make it as multi-level ATP, right? So now, what are the still additional settings which we have to understand here is about this. If you are able to see here, you are able to see something as production here, right? Production.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I said, you hope you remember, there are only two methods which actually trigger the production. What are they?
Two methods for only. Yes. So
CTP and multi-level ATP.
yes. 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 Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So these all settings, like whichever you are trying to find out in this segment, in this column especially, are relevant for the settings for CTP. So these two are the very important settings which are required, especially with CTP. And rest of this, the subcomponent which you are able to see here is for multi-level ATP. Hope you are able to see, you are able to distinguish them, right? Hope you are
Yes.
able to see them. You are able to, right? Okay. So let me just start with the start production, how it is all about, and then we will discuss about in detail about how the different options we have and how it is going to be significant. So like start production, availability check only, no production. Okay, availability check first, then production directly. When I say availability check only, that means we have already seen about the basic MATP methods which are there.
Yes.
If you want to ensure that the availability check which has already happened with a basic availability checkup, that is like all the basic methods, then you can go for this. But before this, I will also want to make you to see about this, the second option, that is production time after executing all basic methods. You are able to see this, right?
Yes.
And here you have another option here, that is after executing product availability check, right?
Yes. After executing all basic method. Yep. Yes. Or yes.
Here when I'm going to check about all the basic methods, that is fine, good enough, that we have already understood that it is going to check all the basic methods. But here when you're going to select after executing product availability check, let us say, so we know
Mhm.
that product availability check is also a basic method. Am I
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yes. Here the type of product availability check is also very important, when especially if you're trying to go with that option, that is after executing product availability check. Here you have to ensure that are you going for only time series or only fixed packing relationship, or the combination of this both, that is fixed packing relationship then the time series. Okay, you
Yeah.
get me?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I will make it for time series because we are quite clear about what is time series is all about and how it is going to check about it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And see, here we are having only two important options. One is production time. In production time we are speaking about whether it should check with all the basic methods, or it should be specific about a single availability check, that is product availability check. If it is for product availability check, we should also ensure that the type of PSC which is there, which is also there, which should also be having a relevant option for it, right?
Yeah.
But however, the start production, here we have another option here, like availability check first, no production. Availability check first, then production. Why you, there should be an answer, there should be question coming in your mind, like Arvind, why? Because we have been also speaking that this is the one which is going to trigger production, right? But why it is having a concept of no production? Am I right?
Yes.
It's a valid point, right? Why
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is trying to still go for no production after checking the availability also.
Yes.
So can you guess? You want to guess something?
So Arvind, okay. Mm, so before saying anything, like just want to confirm one thing. Like there is a two field: start production and production time. So
Yes.
first field, like start production, that would come after the production time. So if I select product availability check only, no production, and availability check first, then production. So that would consider after the point second, like production time, or both are same.
No, no.
Means
Can you come again? Can you come again? So when I say the second option is clear, because second option it actually says पहले availability check करो, check once you are checked with availability, if you feel that still the production has to be happen, you can produce it. I was in need of 100 units. Let us say I have checked for the availability, so I found 50 were available, and still I need 50. So then I will produce for the rest of the 50. That is what it is saying in the second statement, right? That is availability check first, then production.
yes,
If it is not required, then we will not produce. Fair enough. Production directly. That means if I'm really not bothered about my existing stock, I should not be considering what is my stock, but I have to produce for what the requirement has come for me. Then I will go for production directly, where I do not check about the existing stock. Hope you got me.
yes, yes.
Then I will go for production directly. How about this availability check only, no production? I know these two are like mostly self-explanatory, but I want you to emphasize, like throw some light on this availability check only, no production. Any guess, like why the, at least what was the reason behind why they have opted for this? I will tell you. So basically, every time, whenever, like if you have a combination of SNP and PPDS, let us say, okay,
Okay.
you're there, you're there.
Yeah.
So basically, what happens is like the SMP tries to give the same request to multiple resources, or let us say multiple plants, let us say, right? So when I
Yeah.
say plants here, you try to understand that in the plants, basically what are we really concerned about here in this in our current scenario is about the resources, right? So here basically we have classified the resources into two types. One is finite, the another one is infinite, right? Finite
Yeah.
resources are those which will consider the existing load and according to which they are going to plan. Infinite resources are like they are ready to take whatever the load they are going to receive. They are really not going to be, they are like robust in their nature, and they are ready to take how much of load you are going to give, they are ready to take it. So they are like the resources like infinite resources where the load is not at all a constraint for them to process or to plan. So now, whenever you're trying to do this availability check and no production, taking the same example here again, so what happens in SNP? So SNP, what it tries to do it will see like if I'm going to plan this for this particular consignment or for this specific order, how much time do you take? If the system has to just respond the time, but not it is not going to initiate the production, let us say, then you will go for this option. So again, you may ask me, but Arvind, what's the fun in that if you are not trying to produce it? So the thing is, there is something called as SNP optimizer or optimization. What it happens is like, might be say like you have different plants like plant 1 and plant 2. Maybe plant 1 says that I can give you within 10 days, but the overall cost which is going to happen is like, let us say like $100. But for the plan 2, it may take 12 days, but it will give you within $80. Might be the overall what is it, the resource working capabilities are going to vary. Might be the overall maintenance is going to vary, something as such. There are different parameters. So when you have an optimizer, what happens is like according to the constant you are going to build, might be it can be on the name of speed, or that is the time, or it can be on the cost, or many other factors it may be. So depending on the what are the constants you have built up with the query in your optimizer, so according to that it will try to select those resource, and it is going to do the production. But until unless it will not be initiated once the requirement has been passed, but only once the optimizer has allocated the again the orders to the resource, only then it will be trying to do it. So in those cases only you will be going for availability check only, no production, because the production should not initiate once the order or the request has been or the requirement has been received, but it still has to wait until the confirmation has been thrown up by the SNP optimizer. Hope you got me.
So you mean to say like production would be independent, like it would not be relevant, dependent on the sales order when the sales order would come, and it would so production availability check only, no production. That means uh, system will do production whenever it will see the stock level is going low and or on
No, no.
regular basis.
I said you right. See, I have to produce. I have to assemble 100 laptops, Jalaj. So I have
Hmm.
two plans for that. Where the two plans are capable to do it. Okay, two plans are capable to do it for the same 100 orders. They have the both of them have the resources which can actually build up the 100 laptops. But what is the purpose of optimizer is to ensure to regulate or to or to enhance your constraints. So maybe my constraint is the cost. Okay, so how
Okay.
less I can produce them, like within how less budget I can produce them or I can assemble them. So though I have different plans, that is plant 1 and plant 2, the capabilities of them vary, or the cost involved in the assembling of them is going to vary because the different types of resources they were being used. Okay, hope you got me.
Yeah.
Yes, right? So
Yes.
here I am still considering the capabilities of my resource, right? Because I need to say that I have to see that whether I can give him or not. I'm saying 10 days. Plant 1 is saying that I can give you in 10 days, where the plan B is trying to say it is I can give you in 12 days. So the time is, if the time is the constraint, if when I say the time is a constraint, that is if I have to get the orders as soon as possible, so obviously I will select the plant 1, right? So optimizer will select plant 1. But let us say my optimizer was actually not looking for the time, but it was looking for the cost. Let us say plant 1, though it can give within 10 days, but the operation cost for this resources is going to cost, let us say, $100. Whereas for the plant 2 it is going to cost only $80, but still they are going to give me same 100 laptops, but it will take 12 days of time. If my constraint is the cost, so obviously I have to select plan 2, right?
Yes.
Hope you understood now. So
Yes.
then, should the production really happen once the order has been received from the SMP or the request has been raised by the SMP? No, it has to just check the availability and it has to give the what is the expected time by which it can promise it. Only when the optimizer is going to run and it is going to decide, only then the production should happen, right?
Yeah.
Yes, in those scenarios, you may expect this availability check only, no production. Hope you got me.
Yeah. So then, how the system would know, like, what would be my MID date in this case? Suppose the material is not available, and the optimizer will decide like when the
He
material would be available. So, how the system would deliver this date to the sales order?
Very good. I was saying the same question. I was telling you the same scenario where when I'm saying this availability check only, it still sees the availability. It is just not initiating the production. You got me? It is still checking for the availability of the resources. It is still checking for the existing stock. Everything it is trying to do. But only thing is it is not producing, though it is known that it is just trying to give you the overall time by which it can promise you, whether it was for 10 days or anything as such. So obviously you don't get it in a rough way, right? So when it says about 10 days, how would it give you the idea about 10 days?
Yeah. So 10 days, like as you said, like the on the basis of different constraint, like the system would decide like 10 days or 12 days would be
Yes, right.
based
See,
on
let me say, like, I have my bomb and routing. I might have said you about this or not, I'm not sure, but let me know if you have not said you about this. So the bomb and routing is called as PDS, which I might have said you. That is the PDS, that is production data structures. Did I said you about this production data structures?
no. Means as part of the introduction you told me.
Okay, not in detail, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so now when I raise a question of 100 units, okay, I'm saying in specific, this example only suits when you are speaking about the capabilities of a system, that is about the resource capabilities are taken into consideration. Only then this example will be suitable. That is for rule-based JTP and the rest of the other methodologies of JTP, you need not think in this dimension. But especially when you're trying to go for CTP, that is capable to promise, we're speaking about the capabilities of the resources. Then how would the resource actually be planned, or how would the system would take the availability and try to give the resource, try to give the MID for the customer is what I'm trying to say you. So 100 units is my request, that is the demand which has flown from the system, right? Am I right?
Yes.
So for a single laptop to get assembled, I will be speaking about what is the BOM which is required. That is the overall, what are the different materials which are required. I have
Correct.
already decided about them in the BOM, bill of materials. Fine, fair enough. How about the routing? What are different operations it has to undergo is also defined with the routing. So that is the combination of this both is been understood as PDS, production data structures, for the APU. So now,
So,
what are the
so
different materials required and what are the different operations which are required? So overall time for me to make up, time to produce a single laptop, I can calculate this using the PDS of it.